Imagine living in a small town where everyone knows each other. Your neighbors are family and your friends are lifelong. Now imagine in just 3 days that town disappears. That's what happened in Allende, Coahuila between March 18th and March 20th, 2011. More than 300 people were murdered, not in a war, not in a battle, but as revenge. And behind it all was one man, Miguel Ángel Treviño Morales, alias El Z40. Now I will tell you how everything got to this point. In 2009, something changed Mexico forever. Los Zetas broke away from the Gulf Cartel, and they weren't just another cartel anymore. They became something worse. They moved into Coahuila and looked to control that state. By 2011, nobody talked about it, nobody reported them, and when Z40 got angry, nobody survived, everyone got scared. Here's what triggered the massacre that happened in Allende. Someone betrayed El Z40, an informant inside the organization had given the DA something extremely valuable. He gave private communication data from a BlackBerry pens belonging to Z40 and his brother Z42. To him, that wasn't just betrayal, that was a death sentence. So El Z40 gave an order, and that was to kill the traitors, kill their families, and kill anyone connected to them. And in a town like Allende, that means everyone. For 3 days there was chaos. Homes was burned, people were kidnapped, and entire bloodlines were erased. And no one came to help, not the police, not the military, nobody. But the massacre crossed a line. Now the United States was paying attention to him. Because El Z40 wasn't just violent, he was operating just miles away from Texas. And someone like that doesn't stay contained. Fast forward to 2013, Z40 becomes one of the most wanted men in Mexico and the United States. And this is where the story shifts, because now someone is hunting him. A Navy captain named Raul Sanchez Labrado, and he had a problem. No one wanted to talk with him. Zetas had terrified the whole region into silence, so he made a plan. He started an anonymous tip program where if you gave real information to him, you would get rewarded, and eventually it started to work. An informant known as GP3 came forward and gave information that couldn't be made up. He started to give Z40 movements, his habits, and even said something personal, that he had a baby daughter in Nuevo Laredo and he would risk everything to see her. Then came a tip that changed everything. On July 14, 2013, he will be traveling unarmed, allegedly, and this was it for the captain. This was his chance. But there was a problem. From where El Z40 was traveling, there was 2 possible routes that he could travel through to get to Nuevo Laredo. And the problem was the captain, Raul, didn't have enough people, so he couldn't cover both of the routes. So they took a gamble, literally like a coin toss, and they chose one path known as Colombia, and they went all in. They went on their route, and they got to a stop that's known as La Gacera, a place that was designed as a trap so that nobody could follow El Z40. He had gates that he would open and then lock, and it was like total isolation. So he would like drive on this deserted road and then make a stop on this fence that he would have, and unlock it, then lock it back. So in case somebody was following him, it would be a little bit harder for them. Eventually, as they were driving through this road, they saw 2 trucks with no plates, and they tried to escape. One actually got away, and the other one just made a stop, and 3 men came out with their hands up, and they were just claiming that they were bodyguards. At first, they felt lost. They felt like they took the L. But then the captain took them to a ranch and started to interrogate them. And he remembered something important that the informant had told him, and that was that El Z40 had a fake identity, and that he would go by David Estrada Coronado in that identity. So they searched their wallets and they found the ID with that name. And at that moment, the captain knew he had him. It was like, you can't lie no more. So then El Z40 actually steps forward and was like, yo, I want to negotiate with you guys, and was like trying to see if they were corrupt. And on July 14, 2013, El Z40 found out that those soldiers didn't have a price, and that was his last day of freedom. But here's where everything takes a turn, because after everything, the violence, the massacres, and the whole terrorist plans that he was doing, El Z40 thought he had a plan that could work for him, and it could sadly work for him because Mexico gave him a life sentence after his whole attacks on Mexico. They gave him only 12 years of prison. And that man is now extradited to the United States, where he has been training and has been getting moved all around. He is a danger, so we don't know how much of a sentence the United States might give him, but they might go light on him, sadly. And this man might be walking around us soon, freely, just walking around like he didn't do nothing. They never get justice. These people that suffer, they never get justice. They get the mob bosses, they get the leaders, and then they give them the lightest sentence. And then they're all supplied with the United States taxes as well. So it's just bad all around. Bad all around. And we're going to talk more about these people. They keep getting away with horrible crimes in later videos because it's bad. It's so bad.